Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And my name's Brian Craig. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, man, President Trump had an amazing press conference on Air Force One in a tuxedo. And this is the first press conference of President Trump I think I've seen with him wearing a tuxedo. And we're going to break down some of the things that he dropped in this tuxedo-wearing Air Force One press conference and a bunch more, okay? My name's Brian Craig, and the Brian Craig Show podcast is available wherever you get your podcast. We'll take some calls in a bit, too. Okay, so, the left, they have this obsession with Epstein. I mean, they're just obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein. What we know about Jeffrey Epstein is this. When Trump found out what Jeffrey Epstein was all about, and by the way, CNN is even admitting this now. When Trump found out what Jeffrey Epstein was all about, not only did he kick him out of Mar-a-Lago, we found out, courtesy of MAGA Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House a couple of months ago, who was walking through the Capitol building, and a reporter, one of these fake news reporters, started asking him questions, and Mike Johnson, the Speaker, got a little upset, and he blurted something out that we weren't supposed to know about, something that was top secret classified information, but he blurted it out. And what Mike Johnson said, you can go look this up, guys. What Mike Johnson said is that President Trump was an informant for the FBI against Jeffrey Epstein. And what we later found out is when Trump found out what Jeffrey Epstein was all about, he reported him to the local police, the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. And then at some point, he became an informant, the president, with the FBI to bring Epstein down. Epstein was brought down. He was arrested because of President Trump. And that's an inconvenient truth that these liberals just don't want to hear, but that is the truth. So let me go through some of this. If you're new to the program, welcome. And there was a big drop. Now, this part here, this is from the Air Force One press conference. Listen to this.
What do you think of the latest release of Epstein Files, and do you think your critics will be satisfied with this release?
It looked like this guy Wolff, who's a writer, was conspiring with Epstein to do harm to me. And I didn't see it myself, but I was told by some very important people that not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, the radical left, that Wolff was a third-rate writer, was conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to hurt me, politically or otherwise, and that came through loud and clear. So we'll probably sue Wolff on that.
Did you speak, or did you have any knowledge?
Maybe the Epstein estate, I guess. I don't know, but we're going to certainly sue Wolff.
Want to sue the Epstein estate?
I guess so, because he was conspiring with Wolff to do harm to me politically. That's not a friend.
Okay, so this is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to go through this. There's an article in the New York Post that details what this is all about. I'm going to go through this article. If you'd like to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. Here's the headline, New York Post. And by the way, all this that I'm sharing, as with all my show prep and all the things I discuss, all the articles I cover, they're all on my X, Brian Craig Show on X. Here's the headline. Jeffrey Epstein asked Ken Starr. Oh, Ken Starr. There's a blast from the past. Ken Starr was the special counsel in the Whitewater case against the Clintons that turned into the Lewinsky affair. Remember that? Jeffrey Epstein asked Ken Starr to help Michael Wolff get info on indicting a sitting president, DOJ document dump says. Convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein once asked Ken Starr to help discredit author Michael Wolff, let me read that paragraph over again. Convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein once asked Ken Starr to help discredited author Michael Wolff dig up dirt on President Trump, according to the latest Epstein document dump. So here's the first paragraph of this New York Post amazing story, that Epstein is working with Ken Wolff, trying to enlist Ken Starr while Trump is in his first term to slander the president. Okay, back to the article. My good friend Michael Wolff of Fire and Fury, remember that filthy book, wanted to speak to you totally off the record. Your thoughts? Epstein wrote Starr May 18th, 2018, spelling Wolff's name wrong. He wanted some color on indicting a single president. Between us, he has seen a draft of one. What does not subject to criminal process mean? I assume Trump Corp has none of the constitutional baggage. This is all in the New York Post. They have and this came out of this Epstein document dump over the weekend. Ken Starr, the former independent counsel who investigated former President Clinton, wrote back later that same day, happy to do so. Feel free to give Michael my email address. So Ken Starr, what a sleaze bucket, right? Here's Ken Starr involved in a conversation with Epstein. And by the way, this is years after everyone knew what Epstein was all about. What a scumbucket Ken Starr is here, huh? The lawyer died in September 2022 at the age of 76. Wolff has offered 4 books critical of Trump's presidency, including All or Nothing, How Trump Recaptured America, that focused on the 24 presidential campaign. Wolff also once told his friend Epstein he could be the bullet to end Trump's 2016 campaign if he waded into the spotlight to discuss his relationship with the future president. New York Times called me about you and Trump. Also, Hillary campaign digging deeply. Again, you should consider preempting, Wolff wrote to Epstein on February 19th, 2016. The since-deceased pedophile invited the writer to join him and former Israeli Prime Minister Barak for a meeting, but Wolff declined, and the two didn't apparently trade emails again until February 24th of that year. Lots of reporters, Epstein said. Yeah, Wolff wrote. In 2015, Wolff encouraged Epstein to blackmail then presidential candidate Trump, insisting Epstein could generate a debt from him, the documents reveal. So here we have Michael, Ken Starr and Epstein are no longer with us, but Wolff is still around. That's why he's getting the heat from Trump. This really shows you these scumbuckets conspiring with a man everyone knew was a sex offender and pedo to try to get some slander going on against our president. In one email, the Trump-obsessed writer floated the idea of intimidating Trump for his own benefit, warning Epstein, the then GOP candidate, could be asked about their alleged ties while on the campaign trail. I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or after, Wolff wrote to Epstein in December 2015. I think you should let him hang himself, he added in a follow-up the next day. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. This is Wolff writing to Epstein. Or, if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Epstein once claimed Trump was a regular at his Palm Beach mansion, but never got a rub down or was part of any illicit activity. Trump knew of it and came to my house many times during that period, Epstein wrote in 2019, and that's the end of it. So this is, we're in a new phase, and all of you Epstein obsessed weirdos out there, you're in one of those situations of be careful what you wish for, you may get it. And you keep pushing for all of these Epstein documents, and every time there's an Epstein document dump, President Trump is cleared even more. So even CNN is in on this. This is CNN over the weekend, and CNN, boy, they don't like reporting this stuff. I'm here to tell you. Listen to this, CNN.
Epstein. The Journal reports that a spa worker from Mar-a-Lago often made house calls to Jeffrey Epstein's home 2 miles away. But those house calls, quote, came to a halt in 2003 after an 18-year-old beautician returned to the club from a house call to Epstein and reported to managers that he had pressured her for sex. The HR manager faxed Trump a letter suggesting that the club ban Epstein, and Trump agreed, which does mirror the president's own public comments about why he cut ties with Epstein. The White House is responding to the Wall Street Journal, writing, "No matter how many times this story is told and retold, the truth remains President Trump did nothing wrong, and he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago for being a creep."
He cut ties with Jeffrey Epstein long before Epstein became a convicted sex offender. A lot of Democrats didn't, and it is corroborated by the Wall Street Journal tonight.
Yeah. And again, also what we learned was that it was President Trump who turned him into the police. No one else. President Trump turned Epstein into the police, the local police, which is the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Isn't that something? And then went on to work with the FBI to bring him down. So the opposite is true. Out of all of these high-profile people that were connected to this scumbag, low-life pedo, only Donald Trump worked with law enforcement, both local and federal, to bring him down. Now, I know the Trump haters, there's nothing that will ever come out that'll get the Trump derangement syndrome Trump haters to say, okay, nothing to see here. Okay, Trump's been clear. They're never going to say that. They'll never admit that. They're too invested in their Trump derangement hate. But we know, right? We know. All right, now, oh, by the way, I'm going to go see Melania today, the movie. Not the First Lady, the movie about the First Lady. And have any of you seen it yet? I've heard great things from people. And this is let me see, when is the last time I went to the movie theater? I know, because I know what movie it was. Let me see here. The last time I went to a movie theater, I'm actually going to a movie theater. The last time I went to a movie theater was, it was December 2019. That's when the last Star Wars movie came out, The Rise of Skywalker. And that's the last time I was in a movie theater. And I already bought my ticket, and I'll be seeing Melania today. And I've heard nothing but good things about it. And I know many of you in this audience have already seen it, and I've been hearing from you all, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. And it's important to go, and there's stories out there that already the box office, this is the highest box office gross for a documentary like in 5 years or more. So so she has broken box office records, which is a very good thing. I heard from one of my Patreon supporters, Christine, who's a moderator in my YouTube chat, and she saw it. She said everybody applauded at the end of the movie, and the theater was full when she saw it yesterday. So I don't know. I'm seeing it at the first showing today, which is in the morning. It's before noon. So I don't know how many people will be in the movie theater before noon, but I'm going to go, and I'm going to wear my, I'm not sure if I'm going to wear my Make America Great Again hat or a Trump 2028 hat, but I'll be wearing a MAGA hat for sure. And it's pretty cold. This is right now, it's 35 degrees at my house here in South Florida. It's the coldest day we've had in 15 years. The wind chill's in the 20s. And I'm going to wear a Trump, sweatshirt hoodie to the theater too. We're going to wear my MAGA gear. And if you go and see the movie, try to see it today if you can, because we want Melania to have really good box office returns. But the thing about going to the movies, it's been so long since I've been 7 years and look what it took to get me back to the movie theater. I'm going today for two reasons. One, so I can talk about it with you guys on the show on Monday. But I also want to support Melania, right? I mean, look at what they've put her through, right? When they broke into Mar-a-Lago, they went through her closet, her dresser drawers, and her wardrobe and everything. Just they have put Melania, these Trump haters, through so much crap that the least we can do in the MAGA movement is go out and support her and go and see her movie. But I miss the old days. I don't like this making reservations and everything to go see a movie. It's a little inconvenient to go to the movies, isn't it? I don't know. And picking your seat and everything. I guess there's some benefits to it, but for me, when I used to go to the movies, it was just kind of like a spur of the moment thing. Just go, all right, let's go. Now you got to make reservations and everything and get tickets in advance. But I'll be seeing it today, and hopefully you guys will see it over the weekend. If you've not already, you'll see it today, so that tomorrow you can call in and talk to me about it. But I'm looking forward to it. And it's less than 2 hours, hour and 48 minutes or something, which is really the perfect time for a movie in a theater is an hour and 40 minutes to an hour and 50 minutes. You get over an hour and 50 minutes and come on, get the edit out, right? All right, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. 27 up here.
Oh man,
Can you believe it?
it's cold. The wind chills in the
25, but
wind chills in the 20s right now. It's pretty freaking cold.
yeah, here it's 27, and I say by I believe at 7 o'clock it's going to be like 24, 25.
I know. I'm only, I'm going to the movies to see Melania this morning, and it's so cold.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, I should have saw it yesterday when it wasn't so cold. But whatever.
I want to talk about that. I didn't see it. I do know that the reviews from the left-wing media and those beautiful Hollywood actors and everything else gave her out of 5 stars, gave her 2.7, which is pathetic.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you talk,
but the Rotten Tomatoes is way up. The Rotten Tomatoes, which are the ratings of people that have seen it, is very high.
Oh yeah, everyone loves it.
Yeah,
because they're phonies. Just like they did President Trump at every congressional hearing I've been watching with Big Mouth Crockett and the other guy that had the cancer that he had the headband on for a long time, and I forgot his name now. I look at these people and all they do at all their hearings, no matter what the hearing was on, is you're president of this pedophile.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's sickening.
Because there's scum. I just looked on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, this is for people that have actually seen the film, not these Trump-hating writers. Melania has a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes right now. 99%. That's as good as it gets, man.
I know, and she's as good as it gets. Compare her to Michelle, Obama, or Michael. I don't know why, but it's a total disaster. And I look at their whole platform, man. I mean, it's not just Melania; it's their whole platform. What they're doing now in the country with their riots and everything else.
Yep.
And they are riots. I hope your daughter's okay. By the way.
Yeah, she is. I checked in with her. She was actually flying to Los Angeles when she was on her way to the airport here when I was on the air yesterday morning, and she got there in the afternoon, and she knew to avoid the riots are in downtown where the federal governmental center is.
Yeah, and there were all Mexican flags all over the place.
Yes.
You can't make it up.
Yeah.
We're in the United States. What the heck is going on in this country, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they are so vicious. It's to the point where you just look at it and you say, this is pathetic. Then they elect a commie in New York, which I hope you bring this up, that he can't do anything because they're $12.5 billion, not million, $1 billion in the hole. The city is
all right, Richie. You're kind of
of
random and free, so I got a lot of things to cover. You're a little unfocused today, but I appreciate the call. Stay warm. All right, take care. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. So Melania has 99% on Rotten Tomatoes among people that have actually seen the film. That's pretty darn good. I don't think I've ever seen 99% on a movie before. I've seen like 83%, but 99%, that is absolutely amazing. And I'm looking forward to it. Poor Melania. The things they say about her and do to her is just terrible. Another one of these liberal judges has acted out. Look at this. Judge orders 5-year-old Liam Ramos and his father to be released from immigration detention. Now, this is the one that, first off, they need to do some DNA testing here. This is the one where the father abandoned the boy. He was with this 5-year-old child that the press are saying is his son, and he ran away. He abandoned the boy when he saw ICE and ran, leaving the 5-year-old little boy behind. And then they said the mother didn't want him either. And I'm wondering if he truly is the father and the mother is really the mother. One of the things with illegals that when border crossings illegally were happening is they would cross with children claiming to be theirs that weren't. And they would get better status if they had a kid with them. And DNA testing is most definitely needed in this instance with the woman who they say is the mother and the guy who's claiming to be the father. And the reason I say DNA testing should be done is the way the father reacted is just against human instinct. The natural instinct you have as a parent when you have a 5-year-old little child is not to abandon them in the snow and run for your life. You would at least, if you're going to run from the cops, grab your son and run with him, right, in your arms. I cannot imagine a father leaving a 5-year-old child alone in the snow while they're running away. Can you imagine that? I don't see that at all. That is against the natural human instinct that we're born with. It's in our DNA, and that goes for moms too. And I question this. Yeah, DNA testing maybe should be done on everyone who has a child that's illegal to determine, but certainly in this case, it should be done. And who cares what these liberal judges say? The Supreme Court's been ruling on the side of the president. Things are going very well, and we've got this second term pretty set up. Now, my daughter, she lived in Los Angeles, I don't know, for about 3 years. And she moved back over the summer, and I'm very excited. And she went out there now to visit some friends, and she's got some things she didn't bring with her. She drove back home from Los Angeles. She drove across the country in her car, and she just didn't have room for everything, so she's bringing some things back that she didn't, that she has in a storage unit. And also visiting friends. And she'll visit LA from time to time. But the main reason that my daughter moved back from LA is just things are too expensive out there. It's just too expensive. And that everything is too expensive. It really is. And this is a girl who, she just renewed her auto tag in Florida. And she moved here from California. And she's talking about the difference in auto renewal of your license plate in California versus here in Florida. And it was such a shocking difference to her. She made this video. Her name's Kaylee Kennedy. Listen to this.
So I moved from California to Florida last year. And in Florida, your car registration is due the month of your birthday. So I just got my car registration in the mail, expecting to cringe as I opened it. For backstory, in California, I was paying like $700 and something a year for my car registration. In Florida, my registration is $47.05 for
crazy.
1 year.
Did you hear that? Let me go back because I talked over a little bit. This is crazy.
For backstory, in California, I was paying like $700 and something a year for my car registration. In Florida, my registration is $47.05 for 1 year for the same price of vehicle. I do have a different vehicle now, but it is the same price of vehicle that I had in California. So, love you, Southern California, but this is why we left.
Yeah, and she's in Florida now. And yeah, isn't that something? And you have to do that every year? That's crazy. Over $700 to renew your auto tag? Why? Right? So you can support illegals that shouldn't even be in this country, that are paying nothing and sucking off the government. It's amazing. And that's one of the reasons my daughter moved back to Florida, because she was at the point where she was going to have to register her car out in California, get a new license plate and all that stuff. And it was things like that were adding up. And she's like, it's too much, right? The auto renewal was coming up on her license plate on top of the prices of everything. And she just, it's just, I'm glad she's home. I'm glad it's so expensive in California because it brought my daughter back here to Florida. And that's how it is anywhere liberals live. And when liberals run places, they just completely destroy everything and tax you to death. And people are pretty fed up with overtaxation when you see the Somali pirates of Minnesota who have stolen $19 billion. You see this story in California about the high-speed rail that's not going to happen, where they've taken out, billions of dollars in that. You see all the illegals that are sucking off the system. People are fed up. People don't mind paying their fair share in taxes. We've got a great country. People really don't mind that. But what they don't like is when they're being overtaxed and they see that the money is going for the Somali pirate leering centers. You know, I saw today that Nick Shirley landed in California, and he's got someone in California who knows about the childless child care centers of California, like the guy that Nick Shirley was with in Minneapolis. I'm wearing a Nick Shirley sweatshirt. I got this from Nick Shirley that has the Quality Leering Center logo on it. This is a good one. I like it. It's Nick Shirley. It's very high quality, too. Very high quality. When I go see Melania today, I don't know if I'm going to wear this hoodie or one that says Trump on the front. I'm not sure. I'll wear a MAGA hat, no doubt about it. But I got to wear a hoodie today in this weather that's in the 30s. Oh, you know, Katie Pavlich, she was on Fox News for years and years and years, and she left. And now she's got a show on News Nation, and I've seen some clips from it, and it's pretty good. She had this liberal jerk on, and she's really good, because what Katie Pavlich did with this jerk is she let him go on and on and on, and then she comes in with the zinger at the end. Katie Pavlich's new show on News Nation. Fox should have given her own show.
I think it would be safe to say that you would be first among them in saying that this is a tyrannical big government overreach where we have masked men who refuse to identify themselves, who are serving as judge, jury, and executioner in the streets, killing people at will, and then rounding up any journalists, yourself included, because they don't like how they're reporting. I mean, we have seen it with everything from you know, the way that this administration has tried to weaponize the government against Adam Schiff and Letitia James and James Comey, Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, judges, members of Congress, senators. At some point, you got to imagine that even conservatives are going to recognize that all of what they had decried for years and years and years that could possibly happen at the hands of these radical Marxist leftists is happening in real time right now at the hands of the GOP.
Well, I will agree with you that I do have concerns about tyrannical government, but comparing what is happening now with Immigration and Customs Enforcement going in or attempting to go in to remove violent criminal aliens who have convictions of things like rape, murder, pedophilia, child molestation.
So Liam Ramos,
wait, let me just finish. Let me just finish. Let me just finish. These people inside of these communities, and we wouldn't be here if Joe Biden didn't let in 15 million plus unvetted illegal alien criminals, one of which went to Atlanta and killed Laken Riley while she was out on a run by crushing her skull with a rock. So I would say they're very different things when you're talking about a tyrannical government against its citizens and a immigration force that is lawful in enforcing lawful federal laws, taking out criminal aliens, people who are not citizens, who shouldn't be here in the first place, who have broken our laws time and time again, in some cases taken the lives of others. That's not the same thing as what you're claiming conservatives have been concerned about for many, many years.
Yeah, I think she's pretty good. I like Katie Pavlich. And, you know, Katie Pavlich, she wrote a book when it was a scandal. She wrote a book about the gun running scandal, Fast and Furious. That was pretty good. And that's when I first, when that was a big story. And that's when I first started paying attention to Katie Pavlich, where she was on my radar, was during that. All right, now I'm going to take a quick break. When we get back from the break, I'm going to get into some of the president's tuxedo press conference on Air Force One. He was flying to Mar-a-Lago, and he did this press conference in the tuxedo. I love it. You're listening to The Brian Craig Show. My name's Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. If you're watching on YouTube Live, the number's pinned in the live chat. And, of course, the Brian Craig Show podcast is available wherever you get podcast. We'll be right back. I want to share with you the most chaotic, funny Dungeons and Dragons podcast with an absolutely insane premise that is sure to take the podcast world by storm. Roll for Rivals, hosted by Judah and produced by Dice Clash Chronicles, breaks the mold by having a split perspective podcast where the players are incentivized to fight one another. This villain group is running around spreading chaos while the heroes are chasing them down, picking up the pieces. If this sounds interesting, or if you want to support the idea, go check out Roll for Rivals on all podcatchers or follow their social media, roll_for_rivals on Instagram and roll.for.rivals on TikTok. And to quote Judah from the show, roll high, play bold, and let the rivalries begin. This Valentine's Day, let love speak softly but meaningfully. Through thoughtful gestures, shared smiles, and lasting impressions, love becomes tangible. Celebrate the season of connection and devotion and shop at Magnia.com, MAAGNIA.com to discover memorable selections. Don't forget to use promo code PureLove10, valid until February 14th. Your chance to gift with sophistication and style. Magnia. Love lives in the details, and this Valentine's Day, make every detail matter. From the moment of surprise to the warmth of connection, every gesture speaks volumes. Celebrate love with care, intention, and refined beauty. Visit EliteStay.com. That's ELITESTE.com to explore exquisite selections designed to delight. Use promo code LOVEYOU10 to receive an exclusive discount. Available through February 14th. Elite Stay. Moments of love. Perfectly curated. This Valentine's Day, choose a gesture that lingers, a moment of surprise, a quiet smile, a memory shared that you'll carry for years. Picture the look in their eyes, the warmth of a connection that feels effortless. Every detail matters because love is in the thought, the care, the intention behind it. Celebrate with promo code PureLove10 for a special discount, valid through February 14th. Visit Delurian.com, DELURIAN.com, and find something unforgettable. Delurian, love thoughtfully expressed. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Brian Craig Show, available wherever you get podcasts. Okay, my favorite Trump press conferences are the ones on Air Force One. All right, those are the best ones. They're a little more relaxed and casual, and he's always in a good mood to give some zingers. And this one here is just very historic because he's wearing a tuxedo. And I'll just go through some of these clips I pulled aside.
Mr. President, back to your post on ICE protests. What did you mean when you said people will suffer an equal or greater consequence?
If they do anything bad to our people, they will have to suffer. I'm sorry. If they start spitting in people's faces, punching our people, punching our soldiers, our patriots, they will get taken care of in at least an equal way. They're not going to do that. Like, you see it, the way they treat our people. And I said, you're allowed, if somebody does that, you can do something back. You're not going to stand there and take it. If somebody spits in your face, that will not be a pleasant thing for the person that spits. We're not letting people spit in our soldiers' face as they stand at attention, and they're not allowed to do anything. If they throw bricks at a car, at one of our vehicles, and are very expensive vehicles, they're going to be met with very, very serious force.
It's amazing to me that the media think that that's like a controversial statement, that people should be able to attack federal buildings and agents and soldiers and throw pieces of concrete at them, and nothing should be done. And that's all he's saying, and they're acting like, how dare you? How dare you? Here's another clip. This is audio only.
What do you think of the latest release of Epstein Files, and do you think your critics will be satisfied with this release?
Like this guy Wolff, who's a writer, was conspiring with Epstein to do harm to me. And I didn't see it myself, but I was told by some very important people that not only does it absolve me, it's the opposite of what people were hoping, the radical left, that Wolff was a third-rate writer was conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to hurt me, politically or otherwise, and that came through loud and clear. So we'll probably sue Wolff on that.
Did you speak, or did you have any knowledge?
Maybe the Epstein estate, I guess. I don't know, but we're going to certainly sue Wolff.
Want to sue the Epstein estate?
You may, I guess so, because he was conspiring with Wolff to do harm to me politically. That's not a friend.
Okay. Now, if you're just joining us and tuning in, if you go back to the beginning of the podcast, I broke down everything President Trump was talking about there and what he was referencing with Wolff and Epstein, and it's pretty good stuff. Also, this new Epstein drop totally clears Trump again. And if you rewind the program, you can see the beginning of that where I break that down. If you're on hold, hang in there. I got a lot of things I want to cover. Here's another clip. Here's, I think this one here, is this President Trump talking about Don Lemon? I think so.
No, I don't know anything about the Don Lemon thing, but he's a sleazebag. Everyone's known that.
Did you like that? He's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that.
No, I don't know anything about the Don Lemon thing, but he's a sleazebag. Everyone's known that. He's a washed up. Probably, from his standpoint, the best thing that could happen to him. He's getting, he had no viewers. He was a failure. He was a failed host. And now he's in the news. I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah, he's a failure. He's a loser. And in his view, this is the best thing. This is great. You really got to enjoy these times because there's never going to be another time like this. Let's see here. This is Fox News, and the Minneapolis anti-ICE protesters are now just attacking random people in the streets. Listen to this. This is crazy.
Hi, Joey. Yeah, there's a massive anti-ICE protest happening now. Now, we had a photographer there and a producer, but they actually had to leave for their own safety because they told me that these protesters started getting hostile. They were mad that our cameraman was there filming, even though this was going on at a public parking lot. So up to about 1,000 people showed up today for the so-called anti-ICE ICE out protest. Now, it's this.
Yeah, you see, here it is with that. They don't have the ICE agents there to try to run over with cars and beat up. So now they're just going after random people now and committing acts. These are just angry, violent people. These are animals that are just looking for people that they can hurt.
Second day in a row that we saw thousands of people in the streets here. Yesterday, protesters were here for that national shutdown. So calling for no work, no school, no shopping. Bruce Springsteen also made a surprise appearance in Minneapolis.
This thing about Bruce Springsteen, am I the only one that feels this way? I've always thought this about Bruce Springsteen. I think he sucks as a singer. I always thought that. He got lucky with Born in the USA, although he says some very racist lyric in there. He got lucky with that Born in the USA, thing. But he is, he sounds like he's mumbling all the time. You can, like he's straining to go to the bathroom. I've never thought he was a talent. I don't know why people put so much into Bruce Springsteen. I always thought he sucked, even when he was the top guy in the industry. I never could understand his popularity or success. Do you guys agree with that Springsteen can't sing?
Minneapolis on Friday at a concert benefiting the families of Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Now, he performed his first new anti-ICE protest song for the first time.
Please, no one wants to hear anything new from Bruce Springsteen. We really don't want to hear anything old. Maybe Born in the USA in a certain scenario. But he uses a racist, he has a racist line in there about Asians in Born in the USA.
So that made its big debut. Meanwhile, Border Czar Tom Homan says ICE is going to prioritize arresting criminal illegal migrants and pull back from the broad street sweeps that we've been seeing. He says, though, this isn't going to take away from President Trump's promise for mass deportations.
See, what they're doing, what Tom Homan is doing, is they're just changing tactics. And they're going to continue to do the arrests and the deportations. They're just going to do them in a way that the protesters can't disrupt or know about. That's all. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Oh, hey, Doc. What's up?
Hey, man, how you this morning?
Doing well.
I can tell you one thing. It's cold out there, man. I don't know how it is down in Florida, but it's cold up here.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, I want to tell you, I was listening to your show for a minute, and I saw you was talking about Trump say he's going to sue about the Epstein Files.
Yeah, he's going to sue Michael Wolff, the writer, who was conspiring with Epstein and Ken Starr in this latest dump of information to slander him,
Okay, I'm glad he's going to do that, because let it all hang out. If it's not true, let it all hang out. If it's true, Trump needs to face the consequences. But let him go ahead and sue. Because, you see, me, I'm the type of person, if you do something and you say something to me is not true, I'm going to sue your ass.
Okay.
That's bottom line. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you. So go ahead, let him sue, and let it all hang out. Let it all hang out. Me personally, I think it's true. So it don't make no difference, but let it all hang out. Hello?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say something worthy of comment. I hadn't heard anything yet.
Okay, Brian. Okay. But I noticed something about you. Sometimes I listen to your show for a little while, then I move on to something else more important.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes you you'll listen to me talk a minute, but somebody that calls that agrees with you, you'll talk to them for a long time. But see me, you hurry up and hang the phone up for me because I disagree with you.
Not at all. What like the other? Okay, now what happens a lot of times with you, okay, is you do one of two things most of the time, and there's other problems with you. One of the things you do is you just repeat the same thing over and over. Yes, you do. No, it's not. Not true. Not true. And you just repeat the same thing over and over like a parrot. Parrots don't really know how to talk. They just try to mimic a sound that they hear. The other thing you're doing is what you're doing now is you interrupt while I'm speaking. And I can't have a discussion with someone who's interrupting. That's the other. So when when one of those two things happens, I'll end the call. I don't hang up on people. If I didn't want people who disagreed with me to call in, I wouldn't have screenless calls. My calls are screenless and unvetted. I could have the call screen. I don't, because I want all opinions. But liberals like you are just rude, and many liberals use profanity and inappropriate language.
Okay, Brian.
But
another thing I'm calling you about. Another thing I'm calling you about this morning too. I was listening to flipping channels because I'm up early, flipping channels, and I was looking at Fox News. They was talking about Melania's documentary.
Yep.
And how everybody go see it, likes it. Yes, they gonna like it, because a lot of people doesn't want to see that because they don't care for Melania or Donald Trump. Only people are going to see that movie is people that like Donald Trump.
Okay, well, this is interesting, Doc. Now, okay, I understand why you liberals don't like Donald Trump. He's making America great again. But why would you dislike Melania?
I didn't say I dislike Melania.
You said a lot of people don't like Melania. The liberals don't like Melania. Why would liberals not like Melania?
I don't care about Melania because she's irrelevant to me. Because she's irrelevant to me because she doesn't even like her husband.
Really?
She's only there.
Really? She told you that? Why would you say something like that? You know that's not true.
She doesn't like that man, bro. She's only
Why
there
do you say that?
She has to be there.
Why does she?
She's only there because
do you know Melania? Do you know Melania is a self-made millionaire, and she was a millionaire when she met Donald Trump?
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, she was
when she met Donald Trump.
Goodbye. Goodbye. You're not going to talk that way about our First Lady. So goodbye. See, that's why the calls get ended. See what I mean? And he wonders why I hang up on him. I'm not going to let someone speak that way about Melania. I'm sorry. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. My name's Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities. Jupiter Joe Thomas annuities are amazing. I don't understand why everybody's not in them. It is a 100% safe investment, meaning no matter what happens in the market, your nest egg doesn't lose any money. The market could tank tomorrow. We could have a Great Depression tomorrow. Your money's safe. And on top of that, you're guaranteed an income stream every single month for the rest of your life. It's really like giving yourself a pension. And it makes a great supplement. People are living longer. People retire, and then they still have 30 years or even more left of life. And they might have a good retirement. Maybe they have a pension. maybe they have no debt, their Social Security is good, and they have a little bit of investment income that's coming in. And when they retire, they're getting by, they're doing pretty good. But 20 years or 25 years or even 30 years later, well, the money's not that great. I met one of our listeners who's a retired police officer. He retired in the 90s, and he has a really good pension from a city. And when he retired, he was setting the world on fire. But that was in the 90s. He's been retired as long as, if not longer at this point, than he was on the police force, and the money just doesn't go as far as it did in the 90s. He met with Jupiter Joe Thomas. Now he has not just an annuity, he has that monthly income coming in to supplement his pension and his Social Security. It's life-changing. Give Joe Thomas a call no matter where you are located, okay? The consultation's always free, and after that consultation, Joe Thomas will give you a customized proposal based on your situation, your goals, and your needs. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back.
Valentine's Day's coming up. Skip the flowers that fade and give the gift that lasts every single night. MyPillow has incredible Valentine's deals on pillows, sheets, towels, and more. Perfect for the one you love or yourself. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout for huge savings, or call 1-800-716-4879. Better sleep, better mornings, a better Valentine's Day. That's mypillow.com. Promo code KANE.
Hi, it's Dr. Philip Appleton. You've been hearing my commercials about bye-bye pain, my laser weight treatment, but today's commercial and today's spot is going to be on Tom Laporta, Laporta Roofing. What an experience I've had with him and his company. They've done a few of my friends' houses and my son and my house, and there's never a downtime. They're old school, which means you call them up, they'll be there. How many times have you called somebody up and they never show up, or they give you an excuse, weather, traffic, whatever? Tom Laporta, what a class act. The workmanship, the magnificent teamwork they have. I recommend them 100%.
Thanks, Dr. Appleton. Now do what Dr. Appleton did. Pick up your phone and call Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing on your cell phone. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, laportaroofing.com. What if we've been asking the wrong questions about aliens all along? When people talk about non-human intelligence, they look to the skies, to UAPs, to massive craft and towering beings. But what if some of them have been here the entire time, much smaller and hiding in plain sight? In When the Fae Came, available online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon, author Martin Thomas explores a provocative idea that the beings we've called fairies, elves, dwarfs, and goblins may not be myth at all, but advanced non-human intelligences. Drawing from global sightings and early research, When the Fae Came connects underground and underwater colonies across places like Mexico, Canada, Malaysia, and Europe. Beings capable of invisibility, flight, and telepathic communication. This isn't fantasy, it's an investigation into how ancient stories may be misunderstood encounters with something real. If you're curious about where folklore ends and non-human intelligence begins, When the Fae Came asks questions most researchers avoid. Order your copy of When the Fae Came from author Martin Thomas online at Barnes & Noble, Bookshop, and Amazon. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. And remember, the Brian Craig Show is available wherever you get podcasts. Wherever you get your podcast, just go and search the Brian Craig Show. I'll come up. If you want to catch the show in video form and live, where you hear me taking the live calls, that's on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for the Brian Craig Show, and you can catch the podcast live in video form and where I'm taking the calls. I wanted to talk about that caller, Doc in Texas. You already began that call. Why do you hang up on people that disagree? You hang up on people because they disagree with you, which of course is not true. And I explained that, and I gave him a couple of reasons, including language. And did you hear what he called the First Lady, Melania? And I ended the call there. I'm not going to allow that disrespect of our First Lady. When it comes to Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton, do you ever hear me disrespect them that way? A lot of people say a lot of terrible things about Michelle. I call her Michelle or Michelle Obama. And if you hear me talking about Hillary Clinton, I call her Hillary or Mrs. Clinton when I talk about her. So why do you guys think I do that? I call her Hillary or Mrs. Clinton. And Michelle, I call her either Michelle or Michelle Obama. You know why I do that? Out of respect for the position of First Lady of the United States. I don't like their husbands. I don't like them. But I'm a decent person. I don't speak about women in these ways. I have respect for women. I have respect for the presidency. And I have respect for the position of First Lady, whoever has those positions. But then again, I have class, which is something that the left don't have. Right? Yeah. So I know that the liberals are going to tell you that Melania's movie is tanking. Actually, I stand corrected. Look at this. Melania earns $8 million opening weekend, making it the best documentary debut in over 10 years. I thought it was 5. It's over 10 years. Melania, the documentary detailing the 20 days in the First Lady's life before President Donald Trump took office for the second time last year, is set to beat expectations, earning $8 million at the box office in its opening weekend, the best documentary opening in more than a decade, according to reports. The documentary will likely finish third at a total box office because it's a documentary, and there's a couple of movies here that I've never heard of. Amazon paid $75 million for the distribution rights and to market the Brett Ratner-directed film, which opened across the country this weekend in 27 countries, making it the most expensive documentary in history, according to The Hollywood Reporter. The First Lady was also an executive producer on the project, which was produced by Muse Film, a production company the First Lady launched last year. The strong box office showing was thanks mainly to Americans over 55, they report. This is Fox News, who made up 78% of ticket buyers, and especially women over 55, who were 72% of ticket buyers, according to the reporter. Well, I'm not that age quite yet, but so what? Because they're older, it doesn't count. All that counts is how much money it's made. Theaters in rural areas also brought in an outsized 46% of the weekend draw, which is unusually high for an opening. Florida, Texas, and Arizona were the top ticket-selling states. The film has received mixed reviews, of course, with some of these liberal hack critics slamming it as propaganda. A 60-year-old Staten Island man who told the New York Times he rarely goes to the theater said he bought a ticket for Melania to see it kick Hollywood, and then he used the A word. The New York Times reported that at least one screening, the attendees erupted in applause during the president's swearing in, and there were shouts of Trump 2028. A Variety review trashed it, of course. And I'm going to see it this morning, and I was surprised. I have movie theaters in my town still, although not as many as I used to. I used to have a movie theater down the street from my house, and it just recently closed and was torn down. And there was another theater about to be built, and they've turned it into a retail store. They stopped building the theater. It's pretty sad, but there are multiple theaters, and every theater in my area is showing the movie, and not only that, multiple showings. And even though I'm MAGA, I'm conservative, the city I live in is got a lot of liberals in it. It's got a lot of liberals in it, and it's still showing multiple times throughout the day at every single theater. And having the highest opening weekend of any documentary in a decade, that's absolutely amazing. Really, it's absolutely amazing, because movies come out on pay-per-view so quick, and even not even pay-per-view. It's amazing to me. I have HBO Max, and it seems to me sometimes movies are available there on HBO Max. I don't have to pay anything extra while they're still in the theater, or like the next week. They come out so quickly that it has to be something special for me to go out and see it. And Melania having the best documentary debut in 10 years in theaters, being number 3 at the box office over the weekend. isn't just historic, it really shows where the country's at. And what the liberals don't understand is this is a MAGA nation. This is a conservative country. People are behind Trump. More people have been red-pilled than ever before, each and every week, because more stories come out of all the corruption of the left and everything else, whether it's the Leering Center, Somali pirate scandals, or the riots in Minneapolis, or what the lunatics are doing in Los Angeles. And people are fed up. And when they get fed up, they tend to go towards Trump. This is a conservative country. And, the United States has always been a conservative country. It really has. Liberals are overrepresented in media. And it seems, and there's other reasons too, but it's mainly that liberals are overrepresented in media. And because they're so overrepresented in media, it seems like there's more of them and their opinions are more popular than they actually are. If you'd like to support my channel and my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the episode. And if you become a top Patreon supporter, you get your name up on the screen here on YouTube and a shout out, which I'm going to give to my top Patreon supporters. But you also get access to commercial-free editions of my podcast episodes, as well as exclusive live streams. I did a Patreon supporter live stream just last night. So if you've not seen it yet and you're a Patreon supporter, go to the Patreon page. And it's a live stream similar to what I do here on YouTube, but it's a troll-free zone. All right, so no liberal trolls allowed. And my Patreon link is in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening on. Or you can go to patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. And the names you're about to hear are my top Patreon supporters. And I want to thank them all. SF Jr., Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, Lizep, Shauna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, and Doris. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Now, if you missed the beginning of the program, go back to the beginning of the podcast and listen from the beginning. I detail how President Trump was cleared yet again in the latest Epstein file document dump. You won't want to miss it. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe and follow on whatever platform you're listening on. And if you're already subscribed, please like the video and share the link on all your social media and invite your friends and followers to check out the program. Take care. I will talk to you next time.